Feet up on the dash and the calling open road. Road trip classics on the radio. With your hand tied in mine, there's no such thing as time. Now we can go anywhere you wanna go. Ooh, there's no place we can't go. Ooh, my home is when I'm alone with you. With you. Sunlight fades away and you fall into my arms. This life is not the same when we're apart. If you follow me tonight, I'll walk with you for life, and we can go anywhere you wanna go. Ooh, there's no place we can't go. Ooh, my home is when I'm alone.
First things first, I owe you lot an apology. You lot don't know this, but I promised myself that on this channel I was never going to use acoustic guitar music with someone singing in a wispy voice and people going ooh, because, you know, it's kind of boring. There's so many people that do that and the videos all blend into one. No shade at them. That's their style. It's not my style. I'm too busy trying to be a Casey Neistat wannabe in a van. That's my style. But this is the end of a trip. This is the end of an era. And even though I haven't edited this video yet, I'm imagining the opening sequence will have that sort of music. Editing John, you'll know whether or not to keep this clip in, I guess. The other promise I had was that I wasn't ever going to film in my house. This channel was going to be about getting out and about and exploring and feeling like an adventure. So yes, I am now back in my bricks and mortar home, but this video is being filmed in my mobile home in Freddie because it feels like the most appropriate place to wrap up this Europe by van road trip, even though I'm filming in Cheshire. I'm not entirely sure what the best way to go about this. I suppose the first thing I really want to say is thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined us on the journey. Thank you to everyone who commented and who liked the videos, shared the videos, and subscribed. I've been on YouTube making videos for 6 years. My first video on the John Rochford channel, back then it was called The Boy John, came out in October 2016. So pretty much exactly 6 years from when this video is going to go out. And it took me so long to grow that channel. I had a video on that channel called How I Gained 11 Subscribers in Only 5 Months. It was meant to be sort of tongue-in-cheek sort of comedy video, but it took me a long time to grow an audience. And over those 6 years, I have put out hundreds and hundreds of videos across several channels. And whilst I was away in the van, this channel reached 1,000 subscribers, and it is not lost on me after all these years how massive a number that is, how hard it is to get 1,000 subscribers, and to actually imagine 1,000 people sat there watching my videos is genuinely like humbling and out of this world. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who watched the videos during the road trip, watched the videos before. If some of you have come across from the John Rochford channel, which I know isn't many because I didn't really talk about it on there, but anyone who's come across and followed across, thank you so much. Yeah, it really isn't lost on me how big a number 1,000 is. Thank you. And before we go any further, I suppose it is worth mentioning that I'm not entirely sure where this channel goes from here. I still have my other channel, John Rochford, which is the channel that I've had for 6 years. It's the one that I've been working on the longest, and I still want to grow that channel. I still want to do my best to sort of make a career here on YouTube over on that channel and this channel, and I may have made it a little bit difficult for me to split my time between those two channels. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time now thinking about the best way to go forward, which means there's going to be a short pause on this channel. It's not going to be a big pause, but if there's not a video for a couple of weeks, that's why. I've got a really exciting series which is starting over on the John Rochford channel, if you guys are interested in that. They are more formulated than these videos. There's sort of scripted intros, the whole thing is thought out a bit more. This is more of a vlog experience. Even now I don't really know what I'm going to say next, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. It means I can ramble a little bit. But yes, the John Rochford channel is going to be where the more time-consuming content's going to go, and this is where the vlogs are going to stay. Whether or not they're all going to be travel vlogs, whether or not they're all going to be van vlogs, I don't know. My goal with this channel was to try and make the videos less about the van, less about the transport, and more about the story. I was very purposeful when me and Charlie were traveling around Europe to not become sort of an information channel. I wasn't giving you huge details on every single place we were going. There's other channels, travel channels, which do that. I don't know if I specifically want to be a travel channel. I just want this channel to be a way of telling stories. As wanky as that sounds, I know it can sound a bit wanky, but that's why when we were on the road, we didn't focus too much on the area we were in. We didn't focus too much on where we were going. We focused more on the story of that day. That was very much purposeful and intentional. So what I was hoping would be the case if I did that, and you can tell me whether or not you think it is the case, is that I could build this channel to be about more than just the van. I'm very aware that if you make a van channel, if you make a micro camper channel, if you make a stealth camping channel, that actually that may not be fulfilling long term. For me right now, this is still very enjoyable, but I can't promise that I'm going to want to go out and do stealth camps, you know, in 2 months time, 3 months time, 4 months time. I don't know, but I know that I will still want to tell stories. So that's been sort of the goal with this channel. You can let me know whether or not I have been successful with that or not, but hopefully that's why some of the videos on here don't feel the same as other van life videos. I wanted them to be more about my personality and my perspective on the world, as opposed to, you know, details about the van, details about how a van is made and put together. There's loads of channels that do that, and I'll be honest with you, that's not the stuff that interests me, so it's not necessarily the stuff I want to make a video on. What I am interested in the van for is that it helps me travel the world so that I can go and experience new places and tell stories from those places. So that's what is been happening on this channel, and it means that hopefully going forward that this channel can be about my adventures, but not necessarily include the van. If you're not okay with that, that's absolutely fine. I was just letting you know what I was trying to do with the videos here. I did have quite a few questions about the numbers behind the trip, so I just wanted to take a minute to go through some of those with you, because I do think that they're genuinely quite interesting. So first things first, we travelled a total of 6,025 kilometres, which I don't know if that's higher or lower than what I was expecting, but when you think about it, that's pretty serious mileage, especially when you consider that me and Charlie purposefully tried to not really travel, you know, over 2 hours each day. Definitely under 3 hours. That was our target with each day of travel. We didn't really want to have whole days wasted on the road. Towards the end, we maybe had to make up a bit more time, but that was the goal. So it was broken down into lots of small sections. So to actually come back and look at the map which I had earlier in the video and it be that far, that's really quite fascinating. Another big question that a lot of people had was how much we spent on fuel whilst we're away. This van runs on diesel, and we spent a total of £947 exactly on fuel, and I don't know how I feel about that number, because we had budgeted more, but at the same time, nearly £1,000 on fuel does feel a lot. But I'm the cost of living in a van. That is how much it costs to travel around Europe in a van. The other thing to say is that we spent £296 on the ferry out and the tunnel back. So it was like 1,250 quid-ish, just below that, 1,240 quid for the total travel costs, not including tolls. We did actually keep a tally of tolls and food and drink whilst we were away, which we actually spent, I've got it written down here, £1,472 on. So, I mean, it costs a lot of money to go to Europe, and as you can see, that number is starting to creep up towards the £3,000 mark, and actually we spent £229 in total on like campsites and stuff. So actually we spent about £3,000 over the 2 months, which I don't think is too bad for two people, £1.50 each. That's how much the trip costs. If you want to do a trip around Europe, that's roughly how much it cost us. The other thing to consider is that we were looking at this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We'd saved up to do this trip. Charlie had a sabbatical from her work to do this trip. This wasn't part of like a long-term budgeting trip for us. This was, you know, like an extended holiday, and we really treated it like that. We didn't scrimp. We didn't feel like we needed to scrimp on this trip. So you could probably dial some of that back. We did do most of the cooking in the van, but that's just because we didn't want to eat out every day. Like, you start to feel sluggish if you eat out all the time. We enjoy our home cooking, you know. Fajitas, well, we didn't keep a tally of how many times we had fajitas, but it's at least 5 times, I reckon. Yeah, it costs a lot to go to Europe. You could do it for less. You could definitely spend more than we did. You know, we didn't do some activities because they cost too much. But yeah, it basically cost us about £3,000 for fuel, for tolls, for the odd campsite, for the ferry, for the tunnel, and for any activities that we did whilst we were away. It isn't lost on me and Charlie how lucky we were to do this trip, because it really did feel like a massive deal. This isn't something that everyone gets to do. It's not something that we will get to do all the time. It's really quite incredible that we did this. And when we were away, we definitely tried to take our time to really appreciate everywhere that we were and everything that we were doing. But I did want to talk about that briefly, because as lovely as it all was, it's just a memory. It's just a snapshot now. It's not real life. Real life for me and Charlie now is being back home. And actually, this is the place where I'm sometimes my absolute happiest. And I know that that might be sort of a hard thing to comprehend. The road is brilliant. The adventure is exciting and exhilarating, and the joy of the views and waking up in all these different places is incredible. But some of my favourite moments in the whole world are me and Charlie in an evening on the sofa with a hot chocolate watching something on TV. And sometimes the happiness I feel then is just as happy as I have ever been. So I just wanted to sort of say that yes, travelling is incredible. Being on the road is incredible, but it is only a fraction of life. Life happens in the bits around the travel. At least that's how I feel about it. So for me, learning to be happy in the bits where I'm home are just as important as enjoying the trip whilst you're away. So I really loved the trip. I want to do it again. But right now, it feels like this life now is happening, and I'm really happy now as well. Me and Charlie got to sit on the sofa last night and just chill out and completely relax, and it was incredible. So, yeah, definitely enjoyed the trip, but also really happy to be home. And I think it's important to remind ourselves that you don't need a van, you don't need to be travelling, you don't need to be on the road to enjoy a moment. And maybe that's easy for me to say because I've just been on the road, but that's genuinely how I feel, that's genuinely how I see it, and it's why I'm not bothered to be back. Like, yes, I'm itching for another adventure. It may not be for a while, you know, we have work commitments and all sorts that mean that it's not possible for us to do this, you know, all the time. And I'm happy at the moment here, chilling out with you guys. So yeah, the moments where I get sort of philosophical and emotional and sort of a little bit preachy and sanctimonious and I start to ramble, they're the moments where I realise I need to stop filming. So yeah, I just want to say again, thank you for joining us for the journey. Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for all the comments. As I say before, I respond to every single comment. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. 1,000 subscribers is completely insane. There's not going to be a video next Sunday, but hopefully it won't be too long till there is one. So, yeah. Thank you very much. I think we'll do an outro with the music, won't we? The sort of ooh, that sort of music. We'll get it now. Come on. Right. See you later. One less run back to the camera. Don't be a dick.